Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and welcome to No Budget Reviews, the series where we go around the country finding cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and filming them with absolutely no money at all. So we have to use my phone, no microphones, no fancy DSLRs, nothing like that. Just good honest cars that you can buy for very little money and you can enjoy driving. It's always amazing what you can find for under £1,000. This is a 2006 Ford Mondeo Mark III 2.0 Ghia X Automatic. I looked on Auto Trader this morning before I left to come to this filming location, and you can get the V6 versions of these for $995 with under 100,000 miles on the clock. This is a 2-litre Mazda engine in this particular car, generating 145 horsepower. It's also a very low mileage one. It's been in the same family for a number of years, and before that it belonged to a local elderly gentleman who bought it new from Alan Ford. It's still got original dealer plates on it. One amazing thing about this Ghia X, which is towards the top of the Mondeo range, is that there's no parking sensors on it. It's got all sorts of other things. It's got ventilated seats and alloy wheels and all kinds of things, but there's no parking sensors, which I think for a car that's this big, and one of the great things about it is the space. About 500 litres in the boot for a start, and the rear legroom is very generous compared with the previous car. And also I think these look quite nice. I drove an E46 3 Series on the channel last year, and you know, I prefer this, to be honest. I think this is a nicer car. There we go, key fob's working today, unlike the Road 45 I filmed last week. Look at all this space, look at all the stuff you could fit in here. One of the things that people keep asking me about is the recent news that the Mondeo is going to be discontinued without a successor. That's obviously the Mark V Mondeo. This is a Mark III, or sometimes called the second generation, because the Mark I and II were really similar. But yeah, the current one's been discontinued without a successor. But I mean, unused space saver spare wheel, split folding seats, of course. Tailgate's a bit of a reach, but it's actually not that heavy. I wonder if that's aluminium or something. Ford lineups at the time were a little bit confusing in terms of the spec levels. We'll look at them a bit later, but this was the luxury version. One of the last cars in the Ford range to wear the Ghia badge. They got rid of it in favour of titanium about sort of 2007, I think it was, or thereabouts. Get in the back, there we go. Wow. Headroom's a bit weird. It's not got much headroom. I have to slouch a bit, but legroom is fantastic. It feels quite airy in here with this light coloured headlining, side airbags, of course. The intelligent protection system of the Mark III Mondeo was one of the things that was most appealing about it when it was launched in 2000. A little bit of change in there. I think that's 25p. No cigarette lighter or 12-volt socket in the back though, but massive space in these big door pockets. Just pull the door closed a little bit, we'll fill the materials. It's not leather on the door cards, but it's some nice fabric. That's squishy sort of soft touch plastic. That's a bit hard, but that's not too bad. This car's now, you know, 15 years old, so it's, you can't expect you know, that much. We do have, of course, being Ghia X, we have the leather interior with the armrest that makes a nice, satisfying, rude noise too. I have to press this button. Oh, we've got a secret compartment as well, isn't there? Wonderful. I think I don't know if the saloon version of this had a bit more headroom, or possibly the estate has even more, but we have got loads of we've got map reading lights in the back for both the passengers. It's fantastic. What a brilliant rear seat area. Just slouch a bit, I we go, perfect. Let's have a sit at the front as well. Okay. Of course, lots of nice chrome trim on the outside. I do like a bit of chrome trim. I like a leather interior. I also like wood trim. Yes, please. Lots of wood trim and a little sort of oval clock and heated front screen and all sorts of exciting things. One thing that's not so exciting, if I just think in the right place here, is this key, which I think is from a Fiesta. It's not just the most wonderful thing to put on the table when you get to the golf club or anything, but there we go. Nice prominent hazard light switch. Correct time on the clock as well, as heated front screen and a rear screen. Climate control, of course, because it's a Ghia X. And the facelifted cars, and this is a very late Mark III, so we're on the sort of final iteration of them. After 2003, they had a partnership with, I think, Sony to put these nice stereos in as well. Although it's got a lot of buttons on it, and I'm not sure whether the aux in ported. It's probably hiding somewhere. We've got an actual ashtray with a cigarette lighter. Got cup holder. Another cup holder. It's not quite as well engineered as a Saab one, but it's there. Now the ventilated seat controls are just here. I think you can have heated and ventilated seats. I could chill my bottom as well while I'm going on the motorway. Controls on the steering wheel and to the left of the steering wheel too for the cruise control and the stereo, which is very nice. It does feel really quite luxurious in here. I'm very surprised. Open up there. Yes, you get plenty of secret mission documents in there. Big door bins on that side and on this side as well. It's in such nice condition, and there you go. Just 44,390 miles. Big storage area in here as well. You can't slide the armrest though, but it's not much in the way. I don't really like, big armrest. Manual handbrake, of course, too. Wow. I think I like this car. I think I like it a lot. I've even got a sunglasses holder, so I can be cool with my Ghia X. Wonderful. Here we have the Duratec HE engine, which actually is a Mazda engine. It's I think a Mazda L engine. In this case, 2 litres, 4-cylinder, producing around 145 horsepower. There are also 2 1.8 litre versions of this engine, generating 123 and 128 horsepower. Obviously, if you wanted to go for the full experience, you could have a 2.5 or 3 litre Duratec V6. Considering this car is related to the Jaguar X type, I don't see a lot of commonality in the engine, but I don't think the engines were exactly the same. The Jaguar V6 was related to the Duratec Ford V6, but obviously this is a Mazda engine, so there's nothing really in common with it. Hydraulic bonnet struts, of course. Everything's under a massive plastic cover though, so I don't know what working on one of these is like. Although this is a chain cam engine, I believe, so that's obviously a plus. And it's got the classic Ford of the era way that you open the bonnet by using the ignition key, which I'd forgotten about until I remembered just now. Right, time to go for a drive. So viewers, just hitting the country lanes of Northamptonshire in this lovely Mark III Mondeo. This has the 2 litre 4-cylinder engine, but I think it was also used in a Mazda 6 at this time. It's only 143 horsepower, and so it doesn't feel the most urgent or lively. I think personally I would probably prefer the 2.5 V6. That had 167 horsepower. This is 145. There are also 2 other Mazda engines available. 1.8 with 123 horsepower, and then later in 2003 they introduced another 1.8 with 128 horsepower called the STI, but was a direct injection unit. Above the Duratec 2.5 V6, there was a 3 litre version of that engine with 201 horsepower. That was for the standard models, which weren't the STs and things like that. And then the ST220 had a 3 litre V6 engine as well. Again, the Duratec, that was 222 horsepower. There were also some diesels available, but as usual, we don't talk about those on this channel. When this car was launched in the year 2000, this sort of class of car was still quite popular, although the BMW 3 Series was already outselling it by this stage. One of the things I've noticed straight away about this car is actually how well it rides. It rides incredibly well. The surface of this road is very pockmarked and it's got a few potholes on it, and yet we're just sort of gliding over it. Now the engine just is a bit disappointing, particularly with this 4-speed automatic gearbox. If I had maybe a 5-speed manual, it'd be better. I just wonder if actually you just go for the 1.8 SCI engine that only had about 15 brake horsepower less than this, and was also available in the Ghia and Ghia X. Maybe that would be a good idea. See if we can get any performance out of this. Lots of noise. Lots of noise. Doesn't sound that great. Mazda engines are very reliable, and this is a chain cam engine, so you know it should be alright, but I don't know, it's just not living up to the sort of memories I have of the old 323F I used to have. It's just not quite there in terms of the engine. But everything else, I mean, I've got cruise control and everything. I'd be happily going on a motorway in electric seat, heated seat, ventilated seat, climate controlled comfort with my CD disc changer from Sony. I mean, it's really quite something. I just you know, just would like a slightly better engine. That's about it, really. I don't know why, but when this car was contemporary, I never really liked these. I don't know why, but now I'm driving this, I really do like it. It's just this engine is just a little bit disappointing. So yeah, I'll either personally go up or down in the engine range. Obviously you've got to watch for sill rot on these, just like Jaguar X-Type, and we did test X-Type all the way back in March 2020 before everything happened. There we go, to see how well the car absorbed that pothole. I can't tell from where I'm sitting. And that X-Type actually surprised me. The owner, Rob, had paid under £1,000 for it. It was a very strange spec. It was a base model 2 litre automatic with a leather interior. I just can't believe how much luxury, whether you're going for your X-Type or one of these, that you can get for under £1,000, and you can come to a lovely road in Northamptonshire like this and just have this really quite cosseting ride. The steering's nice and accurate. It places the car nicely. I can see why people loved, you know, their Mondeos, and it is a huge shame, really, that these cars aren't going to be made anymore. I can understand exactly why. It's to do with the fact that this is neither an SUV nor a prestige mark, and those things don't really help residual values, which mean that, you know, on finance deals they're not as attractive as a premium SUV would be at the same price. Premium, I say loosely, because last year BMW was the second favourite mark in this country after Ford, so whether that means some premium, I don't know. I don't think so personally, but there we go. One thing I am noticing though, whilst I'm pondering this question, is the gearbox is a little bit on the jerky side. It's only a 4-speed unit in this, and it is on the jerky side. Charlie, whose father actually owns this car, it's been in his family for quite a long time, did warn me that was going to be the case, and he's right. But it's not marring my experience too much. Maybe it, I don't know, it just needs a quick service or something. Who knows? But yes, most enjoyable, most agreeable. Let's now look at some Ford Mondeo Mark III trim levels. Base car was the LX, then the Z-Tech, and then the Titanium and Titanium X, then the Ghia and the Ghia X, like this one. On top of that, there was also the ST that was only available with a hidden fuel engine, so we can discount that. The ST220, of course, with that 3 litre V6. And then other trim levels were the Edge, Graphite, Mistral, Silver, the Z-Tech Nav, and the Z-Tech S that was like a sort of almost on the way to an ST220. The Mondeo Mark III was also assembled in Taiwan, China and Vietnam, in addition to the main assembly plant that was at Genk, Belgium, where this car would have been made as well. In conclusion then, what do I think of the Mark III Ford Mondeo Ghia X? I think this is a really, really nice car. I mean, there's a few bits I'm not too sure about, like this Fiesta electric mirror switch and the Fiesta key, but other than that, it's actually really well made. It feels really good. This has got all the equipment you need apart from the parking sensors, which is very annoying. I think this is personally, for me, a better car than the BMW E46 3 Series. I'm sorry to say that, but I think it is. I've driven both of them. We had the E46 on No Budget Reviews last year, and you know, it drives quite nicely, but the space is quite cramped. Some of the interior doesn't feel as good as this, and these are less common. They're much less common than the E46s are. So yes, you know, it's one of these cars you've got to watch for things like the rust, which is a trait share with the X-Type. But overall, I think this would be a fantastic second-hand buy, and these are available all day long for under £1,000. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Don't forget to like this video, to leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on if you haven't done so already. Social media links are down in the video description below. Thank you.